Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in this to our next theme workshop where we come together and talk about all things big box and launch box and theme related. We can come hang out and see if we can answer as many questions as possible and see if we can build something cool each week. Very exciting. It's Friday, a week after Halloween. Last week's episode was pretty cool. We did some cool things on it with audio and just visual effects and stuff like that. Jay's Arcade, glad to see you here. You're here early this week, right? Not missing this one, I guess. And Lukoshi, you're already asking, can you add sub-series? Essentially a series within a series. I mean, there's different ways that you can do that depending on what your end goal is, right? You can't have more than one series. That, like the one field. I'm assuming you're talking about the field that we get in LaunchBox. But you could create a series in that field and then create something like a custom field entry with your sub-series. You could do something like that. You could use playlists to accomplish different series if you're wanting to. There's different sort of scenarios that would allow you to do something depending on exactly what you want. So yeah, thank you for the question. Made it on time, but going to lunch soon. That's okay, that's okay. I did want to talk about a number of things before we get started. But again, if anybody has any questions, especially related to theming in LaunchBox or Big Box, please make the comment either later after this video, or if you're here watching, you can always make a comment. I'll do my best to answer your questions. But first, and these are all theme related topics I'm about to bring up. So our new wall view. So we actually released a wall view earlier this year. We revamped the wall view, created 4 different distinct wall views that theme creators can utilize and create their own themes. And some theme creators have come by, and I've been loving to see the different kinds of wall views that have come out in the recent months. But this new update is going to give a few other tools. One of them obviously being you can now have the alphanumeric index inside of wall views. So that'll come with the default view in the next update there, and it'll be linked to a new hotkey, index hotkey that a user can create and to bring up the hotkey on their controllers or on their keyboard if they need. And the wall view will finally be able to remember your last game position. So all the different wall views will be able to do that, which matches the rest of the views that we have in Big Box. And Lukoshi, you can't change where you put the image. What do you mean by that? Where are you trying to put the image? All right, so that's the changes coming to wall views. I can't wait to see them to really bolster the whole wall view experience for anybody using any of the themes. Theme creators will, however, need to add a little snippet of code to add the index into their current wall views. So any theme creators listening to this, if you've created a wall view, I'm going to have to go through and add it to my themes. You'll just grab the default, go through the code, you'll see the snippet for the index, and you just can paste it into your wall view and put it really wherever you want. All right, the second thing that I wanted to bring up was, and I can't remember if I did. So in my spare time, I decided to just mess around with the pause themes. I think we could definitely use more pause themes out there. And of course, I don't have it on here. But so I released one on the forums called Pause Shift. And the only really reason I'm talking about it here on this stream is because it does two things that haven't really been done in a pause theme before. And Flavio, welcome in. Glad you can join. Let me see where I have it. So probably easier to show it. So let me grab a copy. I think I have it in this build here. Yeah, there we go. So let me bring it over to this one. Into pause themes. All right. You're trying to change and Lakoshi, you're trying to change the image type for one of your images. Like, let's say your clear logo. You're trying to change the image type to clear logo from box front. Okay, make sure you're on the newest beta or on the official release, because in a previous beta, which you might be on, there was a bug with that. So just make sure you either update or downgrade to the official release. And then that should work again. All right, let's go back into pause themes. So I'm going to try to find manage pause themes. I'll switch over to the pause theme so I can attempt to show you guys what I mean. So pause shift. So this is available on the forums. And I guess I should have tested if this build still works properly. Well, we're going to find out. No, not this game. I've kind of been messing around with this version. Or this build. It's not my main one. Alright. Let's see if I can fix that while I answer some of your questions. Rondell, you're saying, when's the big box LaunchBox going to work on Xbox Series Dev Kit mode? Well, Big Box and LaunchBox, they are Windows exclusive programs. I don't know if they could easily port over to something like that. We don't currently have plans for anything like that. But it's interesting to know that you would be interested in it. And by the newest beta, I mean beta 6. Make sure you're on beta 6. Lakoshi. It was just released in the morning today. Not too long ago. Maybe a few hours ago. And that's the thing with the betas. If you do have any problem, if you are on a beta, do know that you will be facing some bugs as we try to change and improve things. And just consciously, if you know that you're on a beta and something doesn't feel right that you knew worked before, it looks different, go over to the beta thread on our forums and make a comment, and we can determine whether it's something that we need to fix or not. And if you're not wanting to help with the betas, then always the best course of action might be to just stick to the official releases. Right. So, Lukoshi, what you'd want to do is you got to start being creative, right? We've got one series field here, which you can use. And if you're wanting to use another thing to maybe provide some sort of subcategories, you got to figure something else out. Unfortunately, we don't have a second sub-series field. But we do have, and this is why we actually created the custom fields. The custom fields was created to allow for when a user wants to add another field that might be very specific to your build. So instead of adding like hundreds of different fields where we determine what the name's going to be, the decision was made to create a custom field area where you can now determine what you want this to be. And if you wanted this to be a sub series field, then you would just type in sub-series, and you would put your value in there, and then you would add all of your games to that. It'd be something like that. So that's sort of what the custom fields were made for. And is Big Box coming to Android? So LaunchBox has come to Android. Now, I mean, we're talking about if you're trying to compare Big Box and LaunchBox to the Android version. They're not the same product, so we don't have like a separation between LaunchBox and Big Box on Android. And if you go to the, if you use LaunchBox for Android, on your Android device, you'll notice that it's sort of more like Big Box already, right? It's designed. I mean, it has to be designed to be used for a touchscreen. It has to be designed to be used for controllers. It's not LaunchBox. LaunchBox is designed to be on Windows. LaunchBox is designed to be used with a mouse, like primarily, and keyboard, right? So, but what I can tell you is that Big Box functionality will be coming to LaunchBox for Android with things that people want their stuff already planned. If you have any suggestions, you can always go over to the LaunchBox for Android forum in our community forums and make any suggestions. But things like video snap support, things like custom theme support, all that will be coming. Anyway, what was I doing? Let me just fix one of these so that it's working. So I can pop it into a... No, this one looks fine, I guess. So I can bulk edit, change my emulator to RetroArch. All right, should be good. And Exodus, are we going to be able to select how many columns and rows we can have when making a Big Box wall theme? And thank you for the question. What's good about that question is that you can already do that. Yes. So the answer is yes, you can do that. You can use as many rows or columns. It's very flexible, and CBeats has spent a lot of time making it as flexible as possible. Now, the second half of your question, can Y2Guru use it? Can it be added to the community theme creator? Is basically what I'm sure your question is, which it hasn't yet been added. He would like to do it. So Y2Guru, Dave, would like to add it. It's on his list to do it. And there's been setbacks with, of course, his laptop dying. And he's got, to basically get a new laptop and then continue work on implementing to the new wall views. But other than that, if you dive into the code, if you look at different wall views that have come out this year, you'll see that, it's already possible. And if you just learn the code, which is documented in our documentation inside of the themes folder, and you can also just check the different themes. Pulse just released a new theme on the forums, or Pulse was just updated with a wall view. You can check that out. And Dave, welcome in. Wheels are planned for version 2.3. There you go. It's official. You can't turn back now. Yeah, and more things. There's actually a lot more properties that you can use in that wheel. As an example, like Banner Box theme uses the new wall view code or flow. Let's call it the flow control, the new flow control, which uses the new properties that the wall view uses to do a few things that you couldn't before. I would say that the newest example would be Pulse. I think it was just released this week. So check out a video or check out that theme, download it from the forums, and you'll see their wall view. Like you can see the default one here has 7 columns. So I believe he only used 3, maybe 4. I can't remember, something like that. And he made it so that the selected item would offset a little bit. So he did some cool effects there that you can do now. Oh, Dave, you'll have to remind me. You'll have to remind me what those changes were. I feel like I am going to use the newest version that you sent me. Okay, so let's finally launch this game. Oh, come on. Am I not using the right one? Well, you know what it is? I'm probably pointing to something that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, I know what I can do. All right, let's finally show. Okay, let's just load this game. Okay, I definitely have to change what pause theme I am. So we're almost there. All right, so Dave, you're saying go to the text games view and click up and down in the games list and see how that affects the list view. Okay, awesome. I'll give that a shot. Okay, so why am I bringing up pause shift, this theme? So it's doing 2 things that hasn't been done yet. And that's just a couple things that I figured out, not that it couldn't have been done. So I thought, you know, this will be a good... So this is the new theme, and you'll see a couple things. The first one is that I did manage to right align the list box. So now people that want to do that in their own pause themes and don't know how to code it now have an example within the pause shift theme. The second thing is that I bound the selected item text. So whatever the text was, in this case, like resume game as an example, and I then linked it to an image, so like a folder, and then said look inside of this folder for something called resumegame.png, and then at the bottom left of this theme you see the little PNG play icon. So then if I change the selection, it's now looking for a PNG image called reset game and so forth, save state, load state, and exit game. So now you have an example of being able to bind whatever's inside of the selected item and display it in an image or as text, whatever you want to do with it, really. So that's all I wanted to say about pause shift. All right. So of course we covered the wall view, but I'm just going to show it off a little bit. There is a hotkey that you can set right here in the options under keyboard mappings or controller mappings called Open Index. I mapped it to one of my keyboard buttons, and basically that allows you to press that button and you'll get the menu here. And it's on the left hand side. Theme creators can basically put it where they want. Okay, let's exit that one. And into the community theme creator. Okay. We did have a couple questions in the comments from the previous week that I've just sort of picked up from the forums and stuff. The first one here was a comment, it looks like it was from YouTube. From Florian, asked, would like to know how to set the following. If selected item video doesn't have a video to play, then I would like to display a gameplay screenshot instead. Does anyone have an idea how to implement this? So, a couple things. First thing is that there are different video controls that you can use now. The default one, which is stored inside of a transition presenter, which, let's see if I can find example for you here. So there's a transition presenter code. If you look inside of the default theme, you'll see the video code. That one defaults already to display an image if there's no video. So if you just use the transition presenter, that's what its default thing would do. Now, I do believe that it defaults to use a background image maybe instead of a screenshot, but it'll show something. And you can play around with that and see if that's enough for you, because that's easy to do. I am on 2.3. There you go, Dave. And hey, Ernesto, hope you're doing well. Now, if you're wanting to do this in the community theme creator, I don't know if that's currently possible. Let's find out, though. Let's find out. I mean, let's just jump to some test build and we'll see if that's possible. So let's jump into a game view. Yeah, so if you're wanting to do this in the community theme creator, like Dave, you're saying, you're gonna have to figure out a different thing that you can do. Okay, yeah. So and then CBeat's giving you the other answer, which was if you wanted to include a transition presenter, the default one will automatically fall back to an image for you. And he's saying that it would be the screenshot. So you could use the transition presenter, which does it for you, or you can see if we can do it in the community theme creator, which will have a number of extra steps if possible. Let me just double check it is possible. I mean, you wouldn't even have to use conditioning, would you? Because if there was no video, wouldn't nothing display, Dave? Now you could do this. Okay, so right. Okay, so this is how you do it if you wanted to be safe. Right. So and I'll give you a visual example, Florian, for you. So here's my video. I'm going to create an image. You wanted a screenshot. So I'm going to go to metadata and I'm going to find the screenshot. You can choose whichever screenshot that you'd want to see. I'll choose gameplay 1, which looks like I don't even have one for this game. I'm going to take a copy of the selected item video and then paste the layout and place this below the video. Now, like Dave is reminding me in the chat, you can use this visibility conditioning. So you would go to the selected item video, go to visibility, click on conditions, and you're essentially saying make the video visible, but collapse it if the actual selected item videos cannot find a file. And no. Okay, so now that you do that, you can take the screenshot and you can make the screenshot only appear if no video exists. And you can do that by going into the screenshots visibility conditioning and saying, make this collapsed by default, but then make it visible when the same selected item videos file does not exist, something like that. So they're essentially saying the screenshot image will only display when the video is not there. And so depending on the theme that you're using, so Exodus, you might be using a theme here that uses the transition presenter, which its default value is to fall back to a screenshot. All right, so different ways to do the same thing, essentially. So hopefully that answers your question, Florian. Now, here's a comment that we had. A comment that, yeah, and I think, Dave, you're using the new Flow video in the Community Theme Creator with this new version. Now, Rob G over on our community forums did make a comment that I thought was really resonated with me, and I think would resonate with anybody that has done themes over a prolonged period of time. And then he mentioned that he found that he's creating a theme. I guess he's trying to recreate or reimagine the unified refried theme. And Megashub, welcome in. No problem. So you do have a question. Is in the default theme's game detail view. So within a game details view, so let's say, which is essentially called a text games view, a specific variety of that. Can you display the controller icons? So when you say the controller icons, do you mean displaying the badges that appear in LaunchBox? Or do you mean displaying the controller, like an image of a controller for that particular platform, for that particular game? It's platform. Games platform. So those would be two different kind of things. And they both can be done. So yeah, once you clarify that, so which one did you mean, or did you mean both? Do you want the badges? If you want badges, I can show you how to do that. Okay, badges. Let's do that. So I feel like I have a theme that does that already. And I just have to remember which theme I added that to. Maybe it was just an example that I did. So badges is something that you can add to a custom theme in Big Box. It's not part of the main theme other than in one of the wall views. And yeah, Dave is right. You can display other images, but in this case, you want specifically to just display the badges that LaunchBox displays. There is a piece of code that you can add to your game your game details, and that is a flow badge. A flow badge. Let me just double check where I can find an example of that for you. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I have it in a theme called I'm blanking. I'm pretty sure I have it in this theme. Yeah, there's going to be some delays. That's okay. It's my guess, probably between 5 and 8 seconds. Which means that if it looks like I'm ignoring you, it just means I haven't gotten to your your comment yet. I haven't actually seen it yet. Okay, so let me double check. Flow badge is what it would be called. There it is. Okay, so you can see all of these different flow badges. Each one represents a different controller badge, right? So let me just grab one as an example. That's a really bad one, isn't it? let's grab the wheel or trackball support badge. And you can place it, let's say you're using the community theme creator. You can create a user source, and I feel like I did this recently. And we can just call this, I don't know, badges or whatever. And then you would have to add this. And I'm pretty sure there's something else that I'd have to do, something like get a context. And I don't know if CBeats is around to correct me. Something like that. And then that would display the badge name of track support. And then you would place it somewhere in your theme. And of course, you'd have to turn off designer friendly. Now, at some point, I feel like they would be fairly simple for someone for it to then be natively added to the community theme creator if enough people want it, so that they can display their own badges somewhere or wherever they want. Now, a user, it's not natively in Big Box yet in the game details. But again, yeah, if enough people want it, like if you're not wanting to build your own theme, but you're wanting to just see your badges, yeah, I can see that being something that could be added sometime in the future for a user to just sort of tag them on if they're using the default view or the default theme. And it's true. Welcome in. Your question was, is it possible to get animated game icons like Hyperspin? Currently, we don't have animated game icons. Hyperspin added support, but it didn't really take off for them. I believe their support was based off of some sort of what do they use for animations? They use the really old deprecated technology to do it. I'm not sure how well it worked for them. As an example, we could add it. So currently, it's not really added because there's not really any animated game icons to use. Like we could create GIFs or GIFs and do that, or we could do other types of animated, but they just don't really exist that well, that many of them. Yeah, they use Flash. That's right, which is which has long been dropped. That's sort of a hard sell to be like, yeah, let's incorporate this technology that doesn't really exist. Okay, so let's. And Jays, you're saying they don't use Flash, or at least your example doesn't. Yeah, GIFs or GIFs don't really. It wouldn't be the best to use something like that. Yeah, or animated PNGs. That's also something that exists. It's not been widely accepted, unfortunately. If you noticed, no applications like sending out animated PNGs. I don't know why. So it's not natively supported in a lot of applications. I think that's probably why it's not widely used. The APNG. There's also uh, animated web pictures, the WebP standard. So they're like those two kind of out there. There's just not a lot of images. It's almost like you would have to create the support in the hopes that people would start creating the images for them. And then maybe many years down the line, when there's enough for them to matter, then you can then assess and be like, was this worth it? Was this worth it to see my little image, the clear logo, be animated? Yeah, none of that's natively supported in Visual Studio, unfortunately. Which all that means that it would make it very hard to implement into programs. Yeah, WebP is Google only. Unfortunately, they did not make it available everywhere. Okay, so back to yeah, and of course the animated GIF does have a lot of tech related issues with how the file is written compared to how it has been displayed. That's why using them in your theme, enough of them in your theme, will provide performance hit, a noticeable performance hit, I should say. And it's true, you're saying, what about LaunchBox pause? Are you talking about a pause menu in LaunchBox? Right, Exodus, you're saying you never heard of the APNG? Yeah, it's not very popular. It's been around for a while. Don't get me wrong. I was talking about it a few years ago, saying, yeah, this would be cool to get added to LaunchBox. Just as a fan, like I see these APNGs, and you can see how quickly they've taken off. Like they're essentially nowhere. People would have to then learn how to create them and then build them, and they would have to be optimized, and then it's which one comes first, the actual images or the support for those images? That's always a tough thing. So Rob G on the forum, he said that he finds it that adding more views exponentially increases the amount of work to maintain a specific theme. And he said, especially when the views are variants of each other. And that makes sense as an Exodus year web designer. And you feel, yeah, well, now you know, right? Aren't you glad you came to this stream? You're no longer out of the loop with regards to animated PNGs. So, and what's Rob G is saying here is, let's use, he was using unified, refried, but let's use unified as an example because that's a very popular theme. In that theme, there's essentially 3 different views that are exactly the same from each other. Use 3 views. And when you change one of those views, you would then have to change all 3 of those views. So let's, each view only has like one element that's different from each other. I think one view uses the box to come down and display. A second view uses the box and a cart to display. And the third view uses a box and a CD that animates to display. So now we've got 3 views that are basically exactly the same minus like a one element. And every time you need to make a change to one of those views, you now need to make a change to 3 different views. And you can even take this further. Like I've had themes where I've tried to create one view, and then inside of that one view, I wanted to create many different variations just because of one element that I wanted changed. A good example is the cart. So a game cart. I want to have a game cart image, but then in each one of my themes, or in each one of the platforms, they have different size game carts. And sometimes when you create one, let's say for a Nintendo, make the game cart big, and then you go to a system like the GameCube, where it's supposed to be a tiny little disc. Now that tiny disc is going to be really big. So one solution was to create multiple different variations, have a GameCube specific view, and then have a Game Boy specific view, and changing views like this. And then I would have 20 different views, all with the correct size cart. So now the user doesn't know what's going on. It looks beautiful. The cart looks great no matter what system they're using. But now I found that, let's say that I found, I made a mistake over in this corner and I have to change one element. I now have to change make that one change on 20 different views just to see it. And then, that's so Rob G's comment really resonated with me. Yeah, we're almost not just trying to build views. Like that's not the amount of work to create like the theme. It's the amount of work is trying to optimize that. So like take these 20 views and make it in a sustainable way that I can still accomplish the same thing, but in a way that allows me to update my theme in a more sustainable manner. So it wouldn't take me an hour or 2 hours to make a small change. I could do it in 5 minutes. And so that's what we're going to try to do today. We're going to try to let's use Unified as the example here. Unified has 3 views, but could that just be one view? Could we combine all of those differences that the Unified theme does and make them just one view as far as a theme creator standpoint, to make it easier on the theme designer, but at the same time, the user doesn't even realize what's going on. It's actually easier for the user as well in the end, as we will see. So that's the goal today. For people that don't know what we're talking about, let me bring up the Unified theme. So here's the Unified theme. Great theme, very popular. Let's jump into... Okay, so here we go. Let me cycle through the views so I can show off all 3 views. And you'll see that they look exactly the same. All right, here we go. It's view number 1. It's a box. All the elements here has got a background. It's got a logo. Although, to be honest, the logo and the background could basically be the same image. In this case, they're not. And then it's got the it's got some text and then the wheel and stuff like that. Let's go to the next view. Here's a completely second view with completely different code, and it's exactly the same, except it's now including the cart. So from one view to the next, the only difference is that now this one has the cart. So now as a third view, it has the exact same elements, but this one has the cart rotating. Now, I mean, and this makes the user, maybe you're basically telling the user, hey, I've created 3 views. Now it's you have to now set up your big box and determine which views need, or which systems need which views. But as a theme creator, it's a little cumbersome, right? We've got 3 views that are essentially doing the same thing. And you're not really able to keep up with the updates. And that's one thing anyway. And Dave, you're saying to make a universal theme to combine it might cause performance overheads. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe it won't cause enough to make a difference. Let's find out. So, I'll probably try to do just like a reimagining unified CTC. So like a CTC version. I'll create a few views and then let anybody that wants to take that and convert it to something else, they can do that. Let's start with the game view, since that's been what we're talking about. And Seth, welcome in. Please give us a Linux support. You miss using LaunchBox since you switched full-time to Pop OS. Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, right? With switching operating systems, it's the software. And while there are ways to get LaunchBox up and running in Wine, it's not quite the same, is it? And to completely recreate LaunchBox in native Linux is unfortunately not on the tables right now, just because of the amount of time investment versus the amount of people that would want to use it. Just not doesn't balance out. But there probably is something in the works that could allow some form of Linux or some form of LaunchBox to exist on Linux. So that's in discussions, and we'll see how that pans out. Okay, so let's take a look here. What can we do? We've got the wheel. We know the wheel goes over here. Something like this. Ooh, it full screened itself. Let's go to, I don't know, about there. And we'll worry about the wheel, but let's just set some of the things. We can use this assist and we can say, yeah, curved on the right side. So it'll help us, and maybe we can adjust some of the values later. And we got the game index. These are the 2 primary mandatory. There you go. The mandatory elements that need to be on any of these, on this particular view, I should say. And of course, we got the group called mandatory UI elements. Let's try to add some of the stuff that we were seeing. Now, I don't know the unified theme off by heart, so I created some images for myself to make it a little easier. There's one. Okay. So as a theme designer, I'm looking at this saying, okay, we've got the background image, you've got the logo image, you've got the image here for the wheel, and you've got these groups of elements up here and the group of elements down here. Then you got the box and the video. So I would break this down. The easiest ones to add would probably be the images themselves, so the background and the foreground. So I'm going to do this as the background image. For now, I'll place that behind everything till I figure out what's going on. Make this full screen, and we'll come down here, and we're going to eventually make it look for, let's do this first one, we'll look for platform. And we don't currently have images in there yet, so I'm going to go to Browse. It's going to open up a file explorer exactly where my images need to go. And I'm going to go find the images from the unified theme. I'm going to have to grab them, put them here. So this is what the unified folders look like. Oop. I believe they're all stashed inside of the images folder. So it is platforms. I don't believe anything's in here. This is the default platforms overwrite folder. So theme has everything. Okay, here's one called background. Let me just double check everything's in here. Yeah, everything's in here. This is the power of unified right here. Right? It's the background images. Okay, so we're going to grab those. I believe the icon, we'll see what all these things are first. So backgrounds are going there. Icons, what are these? They are completed in favorite icons and the stars. Oh, cool. They look like the stars I created. We'll grab those, and I might have to do some changes to those, maybe, we'll see. Of course, I'll have to take the stars and put them in the root media folder. What's logos? Let's find out. Okay, so logos are the platform logos that are just used for the game views. So they're not used anywhere else on the platform. And if you can notice that there's like a lot of space around them, and that's because it looks like what they did, or I believe it was Critical Sid who did it, was the image is actually, I'm going to guess 1080p. Yeah, so it's got the resolution of 1920 by 1080. And then he places the image like where he wants it to be on the screen. So it's got a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and that makes it easier for theme developers, that's for sure. You can then really place any image anywhere you want, and then all you have to do inside of something like the Community Theme Creator is say, just make all the images full screen, just full screen it all. Lots of alt and templates. Oh, there's a template in here, that's interesting. Okay, we probably don't need to grab that one or the alt, really. So these are the logos. And I think there's one other, the pointers. So the pointers should just be the pointer off to the side. These are not 1080p, they're just the size that they should be. And there's alternate ones and stuff as well. So that's pretty cool. If you're wanting to use these alternate ones as a user, you'd have to come in here, grab the one that you want, and then overwrite the one that's in here. Okay, so these are called the pointer. So far, so good. I'm not sure if we need anything else here. Let's see what the menus are. So this is for the This is for the system menu. What is this one? Oh, man, there's a third one. That's the video borders. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. They did it in 3 layers. And if I'm thinking about it, you could probably get away with doing this with 1 layer. And that would reduce overhead. Anyway, so let's just do it. I don't have time to combine everything else and then create just 1 image for everybody today anyway. So let's just use the video border. It is a little more flexible if you need it this way. Use the pointer to make the Price is Right theme. Maybe that'll be another week. We can just create a giant wheel for the Price is Right. We'll download the sound effects and we'll just get Big Box sound like the Price is Right. Okay. I think we have all the elements that we need at this point. So let's jump back into the community theme creator. And let's start with the background image. So the background image, the first thing it's going to do, I said, take the platform name of the game that you're on and bind it to an image inside of the platform background. Notice I don't even know what image or what platform I'm in, but it's clearly not finding anything. That's odd. Nintendo Entertainment System. All right, let's find out why. Well, there it is, Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay. Make sure it's working. Yeah, it's working good. There's a couple more that we can use that we're probably going to have to use, to be honest. And that's... Oh, I don't see it actually. Oh, here it is. So known platform or playlist. So this one would display the playlist title. And here's something that you can do if you're unsure of something. For example, if you're sitting there and you're unsure, what would this binding be looking for? What would this text be looking for? And so you would go, yeah, it might be a bug, Dave, unfortunately. I might have to downgrade. But let me show off what you wanted me to show off first. So you would create a text binding and you would see if you could get that text to display. So there is a known platform and playlist. So while you're in the platform view, this text would display Nintendo Entertainment System. So we're pretty good there. With the background image. So let me show off what you wanted me to show off. Let's go check out, I don't know, Colorful, which is constantly in the works. I have been developing this with Viking, and he's made a number of changes that will end up being very positive. But basically every single view is going to have slightly different look. So let's go into the text games view and see Dave's new change. Do I have to enter into the view or can I do it from here? Let's find out. Whoa. Okay. Pressing up and down kind of... What's supposed to happen, Dave? I'll be excited to know. Let me press up. Let me press down. And let's try a few different themes. Maybe it's the theme specific issue. Some of these are getting pretty old, so I don't know if these ones are still relevant. So by focusing on the list, I got to click on the list. Oh, no, it changed the theme I was on. Or here, you wanted me to on the list on the side. There you go, Seabeats, yeah. So this on the side here, you're saying. Ah, okay. There you go. So now I understand. So as you're scrolling through the list on the side, you've made it visually change the list in the actual viewport here. And I assume that works no matter what. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So this will reflect. Cool. Yeah, definitely a welcome change. That's for sure. Okay, so now that we did that, let me just downgrade to one of the last community theme creators that you sent me, Dave. If I can find it. Here it is. And there's a question for you, Dave. Oh, that's really cool. And Master is asking, Dave, are you going to add the startup and pause themes into the community theme creator? Now, obviously, with a laptop being dead, not ideal. Okay, so this is how you would downgrade or upgrade the community theme creator. You have to find the spot that your community theme creator is in. Just get rid of all of these root files except for your settings. Okay. So yeah, that's really cool, showing the potential of what... Oh, I didn't unblock it, did I? So I'll show everybody the unblocking of the zip file. There we go. Let's do that again, just to make sure. Okay. So we should be able to jump back into the unified CTC on what I was doing. and let's see if anything is different. Or maybe it's just busted. Maybe I'm just not pointing to the right folder. Okay, so go to platform. Oh, I know what the problem is. It's not you, Dave. So the community theme creator will only display, and I fell for this a few times, and I actually talked about this maybe last week a lot. So backgrounds, the way that we have here, are very much lower image size if they are JPEG. But the problem is that the community theme creator doesn't register JPEG images, and that's why they're not showing up. That's something I never thought about. So let's see if I can quickly get that remedied. Not going to be the most optimized, but should be good for this video or for this live stream. I'm just going to get rid of this one just to simplify it. And that's right. There's no JPEG support by choice. Okay, so let's see if this will work for me. I think there's arguments for both style images depending on the scenario. I mean, that's why they both exist, because they one's not always the best solution for every scenario. All right, I'm going to do this. Okay. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. It's one of these. No, it's going to have to be an action. So we'll go into our master. Just save it somewhere for now and see if it'll do it. Oh, look at that. This one only doesn't even have the PNG option. Okay. I do have another program that will do this quicker for me instead of setting up actions and running them while I sit here. not really meant for it, but... And then I guess the very last thing that we can do... Am I in the wrong... Interesting. I was on the wrong... Okay. Dave, my software, my choice. Yeah, we're not debating that. That's for sure. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to show this folder. So I'm just going to take this folder and we are going to change it to PNG. Might as well stick them in here. Ooh, that was weird. There we go. Should be done in a minute. Fortunately, you kind of see one of the downfalls of PNGs. Just the size limitations. But we'll do this for the stream so that we can just showcase what it would be like. Okay, so as that's going, we can actually jump right back in here and start working. So back to the background image. So in the background image, we're going to choose platform. Well, let's do known platform or playlist. Let's see what happens if we do that. And we'll switch to the backgrounds folder. There it is. Popped right up. So we're done with the backgrounds. Let's move on to... I guess clear logo is next. So this is the platform clear logo. I should say platform clear logo. And in this case, we're going to use ones that come with the theme. Let's just, we're also going to find known platform playlist, same exact binding, but we're now going to look for the logo. So there it is. And again, because earlier I said that they are 1080p, we'll just full screen it and it'll position it for any of the platform or playlists in the exact location that we need. And the last one, which is, we'll do the same thing, but I guess this is the video border. And I feel like this is also the same. It's also full screen. And we're going to find the exact same. There we go. Okay, so we got 3 layers. I'll put that under here. So I'll create maybe a new group just to group them up down here. We'll put the background in here. We'll put the platform in here. We'll put the video border in here. Obviously with the video border, we're going to need the selected video. And we'll stick this in the border. The border should be, I'm going to guess that each border is the exact same size inside of it. So they're all proportional to each other. If that's the case, I should be able to just do that, place it behind the video border, and it should always look like that. And you can see the shadow, which is on the video border, will display on the video. It actually looks quite cool. And then I noticed that behind the video, just so that you won't see the background image, they placed an image. In this case, I'm just going to place a rectangle, and I'm going to place it behind the selected item video. I'll make it black. and paste the layout. So now as the game changes, you'll only see black behind the video. This is the black video background. I just call it video background. Okay, so far we've got the main elements in there that we would want to see with this theme. The next ones are the text. So the text is going to be actually quite interesting to do. Let's create a new group. We'll start with the top one here, and I'll use a frame. And I did this in another theme. So I believe it's multiple elements in the unified theme. Something like that. I'm going to try not to use multiple elements. Let's take a look again. So this thing here, it's the time and it's the date. So let's see what we can do. So we have the frame. The frame is, let's say, 50%. I think that looks roughly correct. We'll place this in the top corner where we need it to be. Something like that. And we will give it the offset that it has. It looks maybe like 40 degrees. Oops. Not that one, that's for sure. It's the skew. So it's one of these ways anyway. The other way. Okay, looking good. So I believe it's 40. Let's see. Yeah, actually it does look like it is 40, doesn't it? And then we will push it, and let's unlock the canvas for this. We'll push it over so that we don't see it. Okay, there we go. This is because it's so dark in the corner you can hardly see it. Let's switch to Game Boy. See if we can see it a bit more. There it goes. And Mega Shrub, that is correct. He is correct. Natively, it's not in Big Box other than in one view. So as a user, there's no option to enable or disable badges inside of the game details view. But it's good to know that that particular view, so I guess the text games view, may not have support for it yet, to even put the code in there for it. If that's what CBeats is saying. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so let's go back to the Game Boy, because you could definitely see that background a bit more. Okay, and now let's just put the text in there. So what I'd want to do is I'd want to take a dock. And we're going to dock them together, dock the two texts in there. We'll give it the right... Am I in the right text? No, here it is. I'm going to butcher, I believe this is called the Bebas Nue. That's the font that's used everywhere here. I'm going to take this and we're going to... Actually, we're going to have to create two elements. One of them is the system date and one of them is the system time. There you go. So the system date looks like they're doing just the month. See all the different ones. So we can get one that maybe matches. Okay, there we go. You can see it. Friday, month, day, year. There we go. That looks about right. We'll switch this to the right font. We'll switch it to the right color. Do I know the exact color? Not really. Let's get one that just slightly matches it. And then we'll auto size it to the text. Okay, so this one's going inside of the dock. Now we're going to do the second one, the time. So the time looks like it is, we'll get the font, we'll get the size. We'll get the size right in a second. Might have to change that up. And then we will make sure that it's right. Yeah, this one looks good. And the last thing, which is the color, it's supposed to be red. So we'll grab one of the reds. That's closely matching it. And there we go. So now we're going to grab that and also put it in the dock. Now you see that we've sort of have both things inside of the dock. So far, so good. But you'll notice that we probably want some separation here. So the system time, we're going to add a little bit of a margin. So let's give it a margin of 10. Doesn't look good enough for me, so that looks better. Now we're going to take this whole dock and we're going to place it inside of this frame. Perfect. Yeah, not really perfect yet, is it? So let's try to correct it. So we can take this dock, and we know that the frame had a skew of 40, and it's doing the same thing to our text, which, might be a good effect that you might want at some point. But so there you go. And so there's CBeat's explanation. So basically what he's saying is it is possible to get the badges in there, but not natively for a user and not within the community theme creator yet. So you would have to know code, and you would have to be able to just place it in there yourself by editing the XAML. And hi, Willie. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well today. So here we go. What do we want to do with this? Well, might want to give it a little bit here. There we go. And want to get rid of the skew. To get rid of the skew, we basically say, okay, if we're skewing it 40 plus 40, if we're skewing X plus 40, then why don't we take the dock and skew it the other way, minus 40, to get rid of it. And there we go. And now what we'd have to do is take the frame and say, okay, let's auto size the width and then we will put a margin around the dock of something big. All right, so what does this do essentially? Well, if I can align it to the right here, it will make it so that the border here will change size depending on the length of the items inside of it. So if we have a longer month or whatever, shorter month, it'll just be proportional. So we don't have to worry that the text will get too long or too short or something like that. So there we go. Wow, that's an odd song that's in the background there. Hopefully it's quiet enough. Okay, so we've got the stuff here worked out. Let's work out the stuff at the bottom. So let's go into our image so that I can remind myself what's down there. There's going to be a couple things. The first one is it looks like there's a border down at the bottom here. We can definitely do that. Then looks like there's going to be a text, including the name of the game, and in brackets, the game year. And then you've got something scrolling here that looks like the game notes. Okay. And then, of course, after a specific amount of time, this changes to look like this, which includes the publisher, genre, play mode, rating. I don't know what happens if the publisher gets long. It looks like there's not really enough space for it, but we'll do our best. We'll do our best. There is the potential that this, like in the original theme, that this would get too long, and I'm not entirely sure what would happen in that scenario. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. This, I can just call this like the system info. I can create another group, and this group will be the game info. And we'll start it again with a frame. We'll place this frame at the bottom here. Give it the correct size and placement. Oh, actually, I did it right that time, so that's good. Good to know. Something like this. Let me just double check. I've got to really pay attention to this. Yeah, looks about right. You know, the more space, the better, I guess. And we'll create one text item. And that text item will be the game name. So let's set the properties for this one. Set the font. Set the metadata to game. And we'll set the color. So we've got two colors. We've got red and white. And yellow. So the game name's actually yellow. There it is. And Pandemonium, welcome in. Welcome in. I'm really liking watching your videos that you release. How's it been working on your theme? All right, let's auto size it, and we're going to do the same thing. When I look at this image, just so that I can stare at it here for a bit, what I'm actually seeing is a stack. First off, so a stack would stack rows, let's say, so row 1, row 2, and I'm seeing a dock, which is like the columns. So I've got the name, and I've got the year and some brackets. So that's what I'm seeing when I see this. So I've got to recreate that in the Community Theme Creator. So that means I need a stack. The stack itself will be auto. Actually, no, it's not going to be auto anything. Let's put it inside the frame. And I'm going to fill the parent. I think that's what I'm going to do for now anyway. Then I'm going to need a dock. And the dock will be auto-sized. I'll put that inside of the stack first. And then I'll put the game name in there. Okay, so far so good. For the whole stack, I'm going to... No, not the whole stack. For the dock, I'm going to place a margin of 20, and from the top, a margin of too much. Okay. Now I can find the right size. So let's go up to 70. That looks better. And in saying that, we might want a little less taken away at the top. Okay. So we've got the title. I think I like the way that it looks, so I can basically make a copy of it. Paste it. And we're going to do that one more time, but let's switch it to white. And in this case, we're going to create the brackets that we need. So constant value, bracket left. That's an interesting looking bracket. That doesn't look right. That's way too large, isn't it? Let's see what the image looks like, because that bracket kind of looked funny to me. Nope, I'm wrong. It does use that bracket. Let's use it. All right, and let's make a copy of that. So this is bracket left. We'll do a bracket right. And one more copy and paste. And this one will be the year, I think. Can I do it this way? Nope, gotta do it this way. All right, we're almost there. Let's just remind myself 70, so I was right, and we'll change this to just the year. And width, there we go. Looking okay. Let me just do one more check here. Yeah, looking okay. So now what we need to do is take this bracket I might do it with the game name actually. And we're going to make this a little larger. Okay, that actually looks right. Okay, cool. Now for the last part of this, which is adding a text scroller. So I'm just going to position it down inside of up here, inside of the stack. Next row, let's give it some sort of information on it. Allow it to have the game details or the game notes. We'll give it the right font and we'll give it the right size. So in this case, I think it might be 55 or something smaller. And let me just take a look at the color. It's white, so that's not a big deal. In fact, it's an off gray or an off white. So let's just bring it down a bit. Let's see where this is actually positioned here. Oh, you can see this dock is too high. There we go. And now we're going to get rid of the background because we don't need it. We already created one. And let's take a look at what we can do to fix the problems that we're seeing here. I don't believe these can be auto-sized because they have to be a specific height and width. We also need to remember to change the orientation to horizontal so that it'll scroll. And then we're going to adjust the actual scroll speed, make it much faster, and then make the time to begin instant. And now I'm pretty sure I can just adjust the margins here. So the top margin, let's just give it a -10 or something. And bring this back up to 58. There we go. -15. Could even be faster. Okay, so far so good. Let's see what else I can do. So something that I should have done before. Let me just make sure. It's because I'm going to have multiple docks at this location. One thing that I could do is I could create, let's say, a grid. I can put the grid where the frame is. I think. Let's see if this will work. And then we will put grid where the stack is. Now we're gonna need a lot of help here, aren't they? Not quite what I wanted to do. There we go. Something like that. There we go. Back to where we are. And the reason I want to do this, I want to create a copy of the dock. All right, so this is the game dock, game name and year dock. This is the other game information dock. And so let's begin. Let's begin this portion of it. Oh, where did that image go? So red and white. Publisher, genre, play mode, and rating. So let's take this and we're going to switch it to the red that we have over there. And we can use actually this color picker that was created to grab the color here. And we're going to say, so this is the game name, constant value of publisher. There we go. And then we got to have the actual white part, which is actually this bracket. Hey, this bracket's white. So we'll say the publisher metadata. And this one will be publisher text. Metadata will be the actual publisher. Let's give it the publisher name. Okay. You can see they're on top of each other because we're going to animate them separate from each other. Because of that, kind of hard to see, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the elements of the game name for now. And now I should be able to see the rest of it. Okay, so I really don't need these two elements because I've got the two elements that I really wanted. I'm going to do genre. I'm going to do play mode. I'm going to do rating. And I know the genre and the play mode, I believe, are just the regular ones. So I might leave it at that because that'll be fine. So let's just say copy and paste, genre text, copy and paste, play mode text, and one more, copy and paste. It's the rating. Okay, so now we gotta just change the text on them. So genre, play mode, and rating. Also, we now need to actually create the bindings for them. So this is the genre metadata. So we'll change publisher to genre. We will change play mode metadata. Change that to play mode. And we'll take the rating, which is actually a different one. It's going to be an image. So we'll take the rating, we'll place it under here. And this will be the rating image. We're going to say bring up the community or user rating and look inside of our stars folder. Now we're going to size it. So we can just hard size the height and make the width auto size. So let's look at 55. Let's look at 65. We're also going to either need to center. We'll see if that works. $60, 58. So we don't want to center it. We do want to put it on the top, and then we'll just margin the top a little bit. Too bad. Okay, so now we want to fix. Okay, let's leave it at that. We want to fix the how wide of a margin between all this stuff will be. So I don't think that we need much of one between the items. So let's give it like a 5. But let me just confirm that before I move on. Yeah, it's very close. And then these ones are larger. So this one should be a 20. 25. No, almost a 30. And then this side's a 5, and we'll do the same for all of them. 35. And the last one, 30. And this one might want to be 10. All right, the last thing with this rating image is that there is a background drop shadow. And he created one that has a very bluish drop shadow. Now we'll see what we can do here. Don't really want to do that, but we want the blur on it. Let's see what we need to get to the, there we go, starting to be there. Something like that. Let's just double check what we see here. So you see, there it is. So there's the blue. Looking all right. Bring that down a bit more, maybe to 50%. And Pandemonium, you're saying it's not easy to follow all the switches between the dictionary and Google with the international version of the theme. Oh, yeah, that must be tough. Is there a translation to the community theme creator? So they're like different languages to the community theme creator. I don't believe so. Yeah, that would be tough. Although, I don't know, maybe you can work out something. In order for there to be a translation, somebody would have to translate it that understands the language. And since you understand the language, and then maybe you can convince Dave there. All right, so we've got the text where we want it. And now we just have to work out the animation so that we don't see this. Now, I don't know what the animation is. I could probably check the code. Yeah, let's just check the code. Let's just make sure that we have at least something similar to it. So for that, I'm just going to open up the game, the wheel game view. Let's have a quick peek. See if we can find it. Luckily, everything's nice and labeled, so we don't have to check too long, I hope. Scrolling notes, fading game title. Yeah, there you go. There's 2 languages. There's American and British. Get a 2-for-1. So fading metadata. That sounds correct. So it looks like basically what I thought it would be. 5 seconds. And then 1 second to take off. So let's do that. Let's see if we can accomplish that. So here's the first one we want to show. And we're going to say at 5 seconds, take 1 second to go from the current opacity to the bottom, which basically means at 0 seconds, we want the opacity to be 100. There we go. Okay, so all this will do is at 5 seconds, it will make it disappear. And I think what we're going to need is at 10 seconds. No, it was at 11 seconds. We wanted it to reappear. Current opacity to 100%. This one's 0%. And take 1 second to get there. So that will end the animation at 12 seconds. Now, actually, I wouldn't mind taking that, pasting the animation here. Actually, before that, we definitely want to repeat this whole thing. There we go. Paste it in our game information. And we are going to just reverse those numbers. So the first one, make it not appear at the same time, make it appear, and then at 11 seconds, make it disappear. Okay, so if we did that right, we should be able to see the animation here. Let's just wait. Looking good. And it fades back. And we should be able to see it again. Okay, so every 5 seconds. It seems very quick to me, but I guess that's how the theme works. Cool. So we got our animation in place. We've got all the text in place that I think that we need. And Riaz, you love the Game Boy chess game was good. You actually love chess. And you're so looking forward to World Championships in a few weeks' time. Wow, I didn't know that was taking place, but that's interesting. I love chess as well. I've never been a super chess player. I've never been great at it. But I love taking out the chessboard and playing. It's always best when you can find someone where you're like fairly equal skill level with them. You get the best games out of it. It doesn't matter what your skill level is, as long as you find someone that has somewhere equal to yourself. You get the best chess games. Okay, so we have almost recreated this theme other than the part. How do we do the hard part, which is bring in the game box and combine the 3 different themes into one. In this case, I guess we're going to combine two views into one, which is having the cart and then having the spinning cart, or I guess the spinning disc. Let's see what we can do. Let's give it a shot. So I'm going to create a new frame or a new group. I kind of want it to be right here, below the system information. Let's start easy. Let's bring in the box. Normally, I believe he uses 3D boxes. Or normal. So I'll do 3D boxes or normal. People are used to 3D boxes and it'll fall back if it doesn't find it. And simple to do, let's just place it where we want to place it. So to move it around, I'm just holding Shift and pressing the cursor keys. I believe it was something like that, and it was justified to the left. So I think we're in an okay spot. Let me double check that. Did I take any screenshots of not this Nintendo 64? Of course not. So we'll align it to the bottom, because at least we'll know that that image will get to the bottom if need be. Yeah, I'll do something like that. And of course, we've got a second image here, so let's do the cart. And that cart is going to be something like this. Let's just double check what it is. So it's a bit lower than the box and off to the side. So let's do that. We will align it to the left and the bottom, so we make sure that we're controlling where those images end up. Bring it down roughly around that size. Let's bring this down a bit too. We're going to need that up here, aren't we? Okay, so we'll do something like that. Let's bring the cart actually in and see what it looks like. Game cart. I don't know if they use the 3D cart in this, but might as well. You can sort of see how large that the cart is, and I believe that's just the way that it is in Unified. We can actually fix that here, and there's a way to do that. How much time do I have? Not very much. But the way that you would do that is you would have to have multiple elements. I've done this already in Retrotastic. Maybe I can just grab the elements from in there. Essentially, this is how you would create an element where the box size or the cart looks relative to the size of the box that you have. No matter whether you're doing Nintendo Game Boy, whether you're doing Nintendo Wii. I don't know if I have boxes for that. Doesn't look like it. Don't have carts. Let's see if this one has one. Oh, GameCube. Whether you're doing GameCube, you can see the little tiny disc. And it's spinning, whether you're doing Dreamcast. And you see the big disc. And even though the animation here kind of looked funky, it does play right in the actual big box. So how do you accomplish that? How do you accomplish like multiple elements doing different things? Well, you would essentially have different elements. All right here. All not in a dock or something, which I thought it was. Let's remedy that for now. I don't need a dock, do I? I just need... I guess I just need a canvas, let's say. Make the canvas the size of this box art. But then we'll push it. Let me push it down to the bottom. Okay. And now we'll take all of these different carts. So I basically created 3 of them. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 carts, or 3 carts, 2 CDs. I have the regular size cart. I've got the handheld cart. You know, this canvas, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make it so that the cart, all of the carts appear at the top, in the middle. We've got the handheld cart, so for the smaller cart sizes for the handheld systems, align it to the top. in the middle. We've got the neck cards. I had to create a special one because I saw that those cards were a very strange size. And of course, I do the top and the middle. I can just click this button right here. And then I've got regular size CDs and mini CDs. That's why you saw different sizes in GameCube. Let me jump that in there before I do that. Hey, Mr. Retrolust, you got closer to the end of this stream, but welcome in. Hope you're doing well in this Friday. And just to catch you up, I've been trying to port over the unified theme in particular to see if we could optimize it so that it would only show one view. We would condense two unified views into one, but keep the same functionality. That's the goal. Now I don't remember if I copied it. Let's find out. Hopefully you can tell I like my cough is very close to being gone. Very much less itchy. I'm not coughing all the time. It's still there, but hey, I'll take this over anything else. I really hope I copied it. Now that I'm talking about it, there it is. Okay, so I basically have all these carts, and I could probably get rid of... No, I can't get rid of the animation. But I'll show you what each one does and why these 5 elements shouldn't be as performant as adding 5 elements. And this is the reason. The reason is because of these visibility conditions, along with what the plugin, what Dave's code will do. Basically, what Dave's code's saying is you can see all of these elements are collapsed. You can go down the list, CD, the mini CDs, they're collapsed. And his code essentially said, if you make the visibility of an item collapsed, or if you take the opacity down to 0, unload the contents of whatever's inside of this element. Like, don't even, essentially not allowing Big Box to load it. It's going to load nothing. There's nothing to load. It's like the code will basically look like there's nothing there. So it won't load anything. And then the visibility condition basically says, but make it visible when the known platform or playlist equals GameCube, as example here. And so once it's visible, then the code says, okay, well, there's something in here, load it. And of course, the visibility condition for the regular cart will say, well, if any of these other ones are collapsed, make it visible. Otherwise, collapse it. So this one should be collapsed as well. Actually, this one should be opposite. No, I'm wrong. So this one's visible, but if any of these other elements are visible, then collapse this element, which unloads whatever's in this. So it sort of off balances. You do have technically 5 elements in the scene doing different things, but depending on the situation, only one of them actually will load and provide Big Box some sort of performance hit, which in practice did help quite a bit in Retrotastic. And Riaz, sometimes your coughs take weeks to fully disappear. Yeah, glad you're feeling better. Thanks. Yeah, this one's been bad. This one's been over a month at this point. So glad that it's starting to feel better the last few days. Okay, so let's take this canvas, and we don't need it that big, do we? We do need it to be the right size, and we do want the elements to end up in the right spot. This seems to be the biggest element here. So we'll get that in the right spot. We'll position each one in the bottom left would be the best option. So let's do that. Let's align to the bottom left, align to the bottom left. Do that 3 more times. And this is aligning to the bottom left of the canvas. You can see here in the editor, I'm seeing all 5 of these elements, all displaying different versions of the same disk. But only one of them in this scenario will be visible, and it'll probably be the CD. And that's because of the conditioning item. There's probably something in here that says Sega Dreamcast. Yeah. And if you really think about it, there's not that many systems that use CD. In the context of like, wow, there's 150, 200 different platforms, but there's really only like a dozen or so, 24 systems that utilized a CD medium. Like there's not that many. But anyway, if I'm missing one, you would simply go into here, let's say CD, if you're going to edit this file later, and you would just add an extra one. So you say add, you would copy these, and you would just add your name to the end here. For example, I'm seeing one that's missing, so I would go here, copy, copy, and copy. So I can paste all 3 of these. And I would say actually, no, I'm not missing it. I did it in this value. Because I did contains, it will look for any name. So this saying CD will actually work for the Philips CDI, which is what I thought was missing. Okay, so let's save that off and let's just see what this would look like. Obviously, the disk is going to spin and it's going to come down from the top. I think the animation does. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was worried about that. I haven't done the animations yet, but you can see only one disk appeared. Okay. So now that we did this, we're basically almost done. The only thing left are the animations here. So that's basically what I'm going to do. Let's start with the animation. Let's do the animation of the box. Would I be able to recreate that box jumping-y thing? Well, maybe if I had this off to the side, let's see if I could recreate it. I'm seeing the fading game title. Actually, there's nothing in here that says anything about the box. Okay, so he calls it cover image. There it is. Box art. Okay, so I could probably use this. So basically, if I was going to convert what he's saying here, so immediately I'm just going to make it so up and down that it exists in the spot where I needed it to exist. Then I'm going to say during selection, I'm going to make it disappear. And I believe he makes it disappear instantly. So let's say up or down from current location to off the top instantly. Which leaves one last one. So once selected, I want it to go from its current location, which should be off to the top, and bring it down it looks like at 1 second. We're going to bring it down to whatever the position is right here. Actually, what this says is that immediately it starts falling. Doesn't even give it a second. And it's going to take 1 second to fall. That's interesting. And there's no easing or anything like that. And then at exactly 1 second, boost it up a little bit. Let me just see. So I boost it up by 150, which means I need where the position is right now. So the Y position is at 400. So we're going to take that and we're going to say 400 minus 150. So current location to 250. And that only takes 0.1 second. And we're starting that at 1 second. Oh. Yeah, we're starting that at 1 second. I think I changed the wrong one. So current location to defined, that's correct. I want that to take 1 second, and then at 1 second, take 0.1 seconds to move it back up to 250. And then it looks like from 1.2 seconds, which doesn't sound right, but you know, we'll see if we have to adjust anything. Go from whatever its current location is to 0. Oh no. I'm reading this wrong. There you go. So another 0.1 second. This looks a lot better. Go back from its current location to define location, and then at 1.2, 1.2, move back up again. So from current location to minus 30, which would be 370. We'll also take 0.25. Okay, I see. 0.5. .1, 0.05. And then at 0.05, we're finally going to let it rest from its current location to define location and have it take another 0.05 seconds to do that. Again, no easing that I can see. Let's save it and see if I got something resembling it. I believe I basically just copied and pasted as long as I didn't make a mistake. Yeah. It's showing some easing that I don't think is actually there. Let me just confirm that. So one selection selected, no easing, start exactly at 0 seconds, and then work its way up. Yeah, so it should be good. Okay, so now that the box is done, let's move the items. We're going to do a number of changes here, and let's see where I would start. There's so many elements and they already have lots of things. Let's just delete the animations. No. We're going to have to give it new animations anyway. Well, I'm going to put the canvas. I'm going to put a canvas animation. And let's see if he has anything called cart. Or if I should just grab my own animation. I see, I got the wrong file open. Let's open the second one where it actually has the cart. And if I'm reading this correctly, he's calling it disk. There it is. He has it moved off the screen with this translate transform 4000, which will work for most screens, but the animation will look different depending on your screen size. That's the only issue with these translate animations. And he brings it in, taking 2 seconds, essentially. Okay, so that's easy enough. So I'm going to say immediately move left to right, put it in its defined location. During selection, we're just going to make it go from left to right, current location to off-screen right. Have it take no time, so it just disappears as soon as you start changing the selection. And the last one is we're going to bring it in. Once selected, start at 0, left to right from current location to defined location, take 2 seconds. And I might want to ease this one out just to give it that little bit more polish. Okay. So we should have the movement of the item. And it should move to the location. Let's just confirm that. Let's load a different system and see if we still get the same results. It's not doing the move animation, but I know it's there. And at least I can see the positioning. So far so good. And I think the last thing we need to do is to give the CD ones the motion that we need it to flip. So this is actually a rotate. There's two different things that we need it to do. Immediately, I do want the rotate to be the current angle of 0, right? Just in case. And we want to do the same thing with during selection. And we could probably do it at an offset of 0.05, where no matter what rotation it's currently at, reset it to 0. That's very important. But then once selected, we can now set it. And I know it has a really slow rotation in Unified. Let's see what it has. It should be listed here. So this is the disk access movement. Oh, we're in the wrong one. Let's bring up number 3. Here it is. So you see disk rotate. It's got a very slow rotation. So it does one rotation in 5 seconds. So it takes 5 seconds to rotate it entirely. And he starts it at 2.5 seconds to 360. Take 5 seconds. No easing. And then he'll take this entire actually he'll take this one here and he should repeat it. But I don't think you can set a start time. Oh, you have an animation asset. But do you have one that rotates extremely slowly, Dave? I think that's the difference. This one's supposed to, like, it really takes its time to go around and around. I think yours goes really fast, right? Although I can adjust the times, obviously. I mean, let's do it. Let's show it off. Although that'll eliminate all of these other ones, but... oh, and it enters from left to right. Yeah, I don't want it to do that either. Okay, I mean, there is the asset that'll do it that Dave's talking about automatically for you, and that's in the assist. So at least I'll show off that it's here, spinning enter from the left, spinning enter from the right, just in case you don't have to worry about all these numbers. Or it gives you a starting point, and then you can adjust the numbers. But here I'm at the very end of this process. So let me just... I think I should be able to just hit repeat here, and let's see if that'll do it. I don't know if this is one of those ones that I need to have animations turned on. Let's find out. It is. Maybe this needs to be like 359 or something to indicate that it's going around. Oh, when did that happen? Oh, it's disabled. Well, I'm not seeing them rotate, but it might just be a visual indication, or I might be doing it wrong. Let's use one of these. just to confirm. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So we definitely don't need these. That's a good question. I don't remember if you needed to have animations on during rotation, though I did turn it on. And, oh, you know what it was? I did all that, and it's just that the element is behind everything else. So you couldn't see it. Okay. Okay, so we'll reset this. So this one should just say rotation. So I do want it to reset from to 0. And we can get rid of this one. So we'll edit during selection. So during selection, we do want it to just reset to 0. And that looks right. 0. And that'll happen off the screen. Actually, I may want to put that at 0.05 to have happen. And then the last one, which is the actual rotation amount of 5 seconds. So we don't need the movement. Okay, here we go. So this is at 1 second, at 3 seconds, at 5 seconds. So I shouldn't need all of these. I should only need one that says at 2.5 seconds, rotate from current angle to 360. And take 5 seconds to do that. And repeat. Let's see what happens at that point. So at 2.5 seconds, will we see it rotating? Okay, there we go. So it's looking good. So let's just review the new angle, set it to 0 instantly. During selection, we'll set it, the rotation to 0 instantly, or at 0.05 seconds. I might just want to set that to instantly, I'm not sure yet. And then rotation. Second one appeared here. No wonder it's doing that. Okay, so instantly, there it goes. At 2.5 seconds, start rotating and then repeat the rotation. But I was wondering whether it would repeat the start time as well. Doesn't seem to be doing that. Wonder if this has to reduce to 5.9 to get it to function properly. I don't think it did. Yours did a 720. I think what it's doing is it's applying some sort of easing function to it even when it's not there. So I think we're okay. Well, let me bring this back to 360. And it seems to be doing what we need it to do. And now I can just apply that to the other. Let's apply it to the mini CD. And we should be good to go. Cool. So this is the media group. And then the last one, which I'm going to put into the wheel, is the pointer. So we just forgot the pointer. How does the pointer look? The pointer is essentially, so pointer, going to be the same metadata as the ones that we did earlier. So we'll use known platform or playlist. And we will do the pointers. The only thing that we haven't been doing, and something that I'll probably just go through it right now, is set a fallback folder. So in this case, background, and a fallback background, which That's interesting. I don't have anything in there. That's why I'm using the wrong folder. I believe there's one called default. I'm not seeing it though. Every one of these should have a default one. It's at the bottom. Okay. So the platform clear logo should be the same thing. Default. Oop. Gotta actually select the logo. The video border should also have a default one. And the pointer should also have one. Pointer, default. Okay. So now that we did that, the only other thing is positioning and the animation. So I'm going to put that over here, see if I can find it. Pointer is the name of it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we know that this is going to go off to the side. So I'm going to align it to the right. And we know that it's not going to be... Oh, that's an interesting alignment of it being disappeared. Ooh. What's that? No. Let's try to get this back. Yeah, sometimes this will happen, but it's okay. We should be able to get it back here. Have any special keys, Dave, for when the menu disappears? Sometimes can get it to function if I just click away. Oh, there we go. Got it. Hey, Mr. Retroless, thanks for stopping by. Have a great weekend. Okay, before anything happens, I'm going to save this out. We got stuff done. There we go. All right, so let's do the pointer, and we basically have recreated the games view. All right, here we go. So we're going to place this in the side here. So here, right click, paste, align. We're going to do the center. That's basically where we need it. And there we go. And we can make just to clean it up, the width can just be the size. Oh no, we can't. We got to have it a size. Let's make it smaller. Bit better for us, and we'll put it to the side. Okay, so now there's going to be some animations that we do need to add. The animation going to be two different kinds of animations, I believe. The first one is the animation of the pointer size. So it looks like that the size of it will go from 1 to 75 or 0.75. And I'll do that every time during selection. We'll say, It's interesting the way that it's written here. It actually will grow smaller. Let's see if we can do that. So during selection, it'll go from one size, start at 0.15. It will actually shrink to 75. Interesting. And that will take 0.15 seconds to shoot off. So we're going to do the same thing with scale height. I kind of wish I had the new version. To 75%. Going to take 0.15 and here again 0.15. So at the same time, these should shoot off and do the same thing. Cool. That means that immediately it's actually not 100%. It's 75%. So we're going to say, hey, start your life at 75%. Scale width and scale height. And the last thing is once selected, it does look like it's going to go down in opacity. So once selected, immediately, actually no, not immediately, at 0.8 seconds, we're going to take opacity and we're going to take it down to 15% actually. And that's going to take 0.8 seconds. Means immediately we have to set that opacity down to 15%. That's where it's going to exist. And during selection, we will want to bring it up. It looks like it instantly gets changed to 100. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So instantly it's going to go from nothing to 100%. All right, I think we're good. We're good with the pointer. And I'm pretty sure we want that exact same animation on the wheel. I could be wrong. Let me double check. Okay, the wheel has slightly easier animation. So we're going to do this where it's currently going to be at 15%, it looks like, when it loads in. Actually, no, let's set it to 100%. When it loads in, course, during navigation, we also want to set it to 100% right away. And once selected, we want to set it to fade out. So let's see how we can do that. So once selected at 0.8 seconds, so it gives it a little bit of time. I want you to fade to 15% and take 0.8 seconds to do so. All right, let's save this bad boy out and see what we got. So we're going to publish the unified CTC and see how well we did with this game's view. We've got it building right here. It's going to take a little while because there's a substantial amount of images in there. And we're done. All right, let's load up Big Box. Hey, I did it. No, this is the actual unified theme. Let's switch over to unified CTC where we haven't done the platform view yet. Enter into one of these guys. All right, so the wheel is moving and it fades out. Do have a problem with the scaling animation? That's fine. I can always fix that up later. And an interesting issue with where the boxes are landing. So they're not in the position that I told it to go. So I'll have to fix that up later in a bit. Should have a way to do that. But let's just see if the GameCube works. So then we can at least see that it's going to come in and it's going to turn. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. It's showing the right element, hiding the rest of the elements, and then performing the animation on the element that we need it to perform. The only thing it hasn't done is just positioning is wrong. So that's just something I can work on in a bit. Other than that, you know, things are good. We've essentially recreated. Let's just make sure that, yeah, so the animation on the elements on the bottom are correct. It's telling us, at least my time. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Yeah, I used to play this all the time. And let's just confirm one of the, let's just see if I have any discs here. There we go. A slightly larger disc that looks proportionate. Okay. So at least in the sense that we solved the issue where we could have multiple different styles of media be displayed on the same it could be displayed on the same view at once without really impacting performance due to the way that we did it. And this in turn would help us if we ever wanted to make changes. If I want to make changes to this view, I only have to make changes to one view and not 3 different views. And then as a theme developer, that will help me stay motivated to make changes to this view. And then, of course, the other side effect, which is now we will have, once I polish this up, a working unified in the community theme creator that then I can share with everybody, and then people can make the changes that they want to make when unified within an actual the community theme creator editor. So that is a good side benefit to all of this. But at least for now, it is getting, 4:30. So I will finish the rest of this polish up off of the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, have any questions, link them down below in the comments. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you guys soon.